Hey, it's Mike, and I am back to talk again about Hare Krishna and this cult and the scammers that they are and all of that stuff. So let's get into it right now. I want to show you the opening. Let's get to the opening.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, so I just did a show, an episode. Oh wait, you know what? I have to do my sponsor.
This broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of Edam Neckties, with stores at 3 convenient locations: Skagway, Alaska, Little America, and Pago Pago.
There we go. Okay, so I was gonna do this show about these cult wackos, right? And which I'm still gonna do, and comment on some videos, some YouTube videos, like I do, commenting on these YouTube preachers and these different Krishna cult people on YouTube. So I'm still gonna do that today. But as I'm getting ready to do this, this thing comes over on my YouTube feed. And like it was just posted just a couple hours ago. It's a couple hours ago now, but it was actually just like, I think I saw it like when it was immediately posted, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Now I've already done a show about this guy. Last week sometime I did it, explaining that this guy was a scammer, he was a fraud, and all of that stuff. And that's why this video came up, and I said, well, let me see what this is, and I wanted to share it with you all so you can kind of get an idea what this guy, we'll talk about it when it's over. Let's see. Let me get over here.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. This coming Sunday, August the 3rd, I'll be swimming 10 kilometers in the River Thames. Now you may remember I did 15 kilometers this time last year, and this year I'm making a heartfelt request to all of you. Please help me bring Srila Prabhupada's books to the Turkish-speaking world. This is the final stretch of a campaign that began last year, one that's already brought Srila Prabhupada's teachings closer to the Arab-speaking world. With your help, we can do the same for the Turkish. Why swimming? At nearly 77, it's the one physical activity I can still do well, but it's also a challenge. And by challenging myself, I hope to inspire others to rise to their own service. Why Turkish and Arabic? Because Srila Prabhupada urgently wanted his books to reach the Muslim world. These 2 languages are key to fulfilling that instruction. I've been preaching in Turkey for years, and I've seen firsthand the hunger for Krishna consciousness and the lack of resources. These communities are ready, they just need the books. Even as I gradually step back from my areas of preaching, this service remains deeply personal to me. Distributing Prabhupada's books in these languages is not just important, it's historic. Srila Prabhupada once said he would take the dust from the feet of those who preach in Muslim countries. Of course, we do not want Srila Prabhupada to take the dust from our feet, but we do want his mercy. And I know this is a way to receive it. as I enter the cold 16 degrees water of the Thames, I'll be meditating and praying for all the devotees who helped make this offering possible. So I humbly ask, will you join me in this final effort? Whether your donation is large or small, it brings us one stroke closer to placing Srila Prabhupada's books into the lap of the Arab and Turkish world. So let's finish this together. Please send in your donations at the link that comes with this video. Let's make it count for Srila Prabhupada and for the millions of people still waiting to hear Lord Chaitanya's message. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what one thing has to do with the other thing. Like, I don't know why. I don't understand the connection between him swimming in this marathon and distributing Prabhupada's books to the Muslim or the Muslim or Arabic or Turkish language speaking world. I don't understand what distributing these books in these other languages in these other countries has to do with him swimming in this marathon in London. I mean, I understand that he says swimming is the only thing, you know, I can really do it at this age. It's the one physical activity that I can do. Okay, you can go swimming. That's not a problem. I mean, but what is how does swimming in this marathon, which I'm sure costs money, he has to fly there because he doesn't live in London. He lives like in Hungary or India. So he's got to fly to London. He's got to register for this thing. He's got to do the whole, you know, marathon thing, Oxford Thames marathon fundraiser. So it's costing. It's a fundraiser for him, so that he can go participate in this thing that most people can't do, because I can't do that, or most of his disciples can't do that. Like, buy a ticket to London from wherever they are in the world, so they can and get a hotel so that they can go swim in this river marathon thing, swimming thing. That has nothing to do with Hare Krishna. He's just doing it as a Hare Krishna, and then he's doing it and using it as a way to raise money to pay for him to go do that, and under the guise of help me spread Prabhupada's books in Turkey. Well, how does my paying for you to go swim in the river and flying to London to go swim in the river, how does my paying for that help you distribute books in Turkey? Am I missing something here? What's going on with this guy? And I understand. Okay, you want to swim, but how is the swimming in this? You know, the whole pain to go to this thing. How is that? How is that bringing books to Turkey? I don't get the scam. I mean, I understand the scam. It's a scam to get money out of his disciples' pockets into his pocket to do whatever he wants with. Go marathon, go fly to London, swim in the river, buy a fancy wetsuit. What does that have to do with selling with Prabhupada's books in Turkey? Him swimming in a marathon in London. Like, how is that necessary to get the books over there? And we don't even need to talk about what's in these books. I did a whole thing. I mean, we'll do that in a minute, but just the idea that he is using this Oxford Thames Marathon fundraiser, 10K swim thing to raise money, he says he's raising money for the books. He's doing this thing. You know, he's starting, there's a shuttle bus, and then he goes up this river. He's going to swim 6K, 8K, and then he's going to finish. This is not a Hare Krishna thing. This is like a London thing. You know, it says there's a tea tent, tea, coffee, cake. Well, it's definitely not a Hare Krishna thing if there's a tea tent. Changing tent, toilets, bus back to the car park. But I don't understand how this is. I don't understand how him going and doing this whole thing is helping get books to Turkey, except otherwise through. And he says, donate to help. Donate to help get these books, because I'm going to go swim in this river and do this 10-kilometer swim. I don't understand what this. I mean, I understand if he wants to go swim, go swim. But why am I paying for you to go swim under the guise of you want to take books to Turkey? Take books, I'll pay for. Let's say I was a disciple. I'll pay for the books to go to Turkey, but why? What does the swimming have to do with it? Well, they don't. His disciples don't care. But I'm a thinking disciple. What does swimming in the river have to do with it? Because they're thinking, well, that's my pure devotee guru. He can do whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants. But this is a complete scam. He's got no shame in doing this, you know. Here he is in his fancy wetsuit. Here he's got his wetsuit and his bead bag and his Nishinga Kavacha thing around his neck.
Stretch of a campaign that began last year, one that's already brought Srila Prabhupada's teachings closer to the Arab-speaking.
He's gonna go participate in a marathon, you know, a swimming marathon, because that's the only activity he can do, because otherwise he'd be doing other stuff, right? He'd be doing skiing. He'd be skiing down whatever in the south of France or wherever, or the north, wherever it is. He'd be, you know, I don't know what he'd be doing. He says, this is the only activity I can do at 77 years old. This is really the only thing I can do is swim. So it kind of leads me to believe that if he was a younger man, he'd be doing other stuff, you know? So why are you guru then? When did your guru? I don't even know who his guru is. When did Prabhupada say people could go do swimming marathons and who knows? Prabhupada was against that. Prabhupada was against sports. You know, you're gonna go swimming, you're gonna go dunk in the river and then get out. You're not gonna go swim 10 kilometers in a wetsuit for fun. As a sport, that's a sport. That takes some endurance. That takes some, 10 kilometers is 10 kilometers, And, it's good that he's healthy enough that he can still do that and all that. That's great for him, but he's a guru. Just like gurus shouldn't be running off with their 35-year-old disciples. I mean, what is this guy doing? He's running some kind of scam. I've never heard of a guru saying, "Hey, donate to my cause because I want to go do this marathon in London. I want to go do this river marathon, swimming marathon, 10 kilometers. I want to swim for 10 kilometers, and I want you to donate because somehow this thing is helping me get books to Turkey." So I don't know if anybody has any idea how that's supposed to work. Let me know, because I have no idea. It's just, I these people, this guy, and that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't take much for all these guys to figure out that every one of them's a scam. Even the ones that you go, well, what is Sivarama? He's never been accused of this, or he's been accused of that. You go, well, I don't care. It's still a scam, and you'll be exposed sooner or later, just like Trivikram. If it's not, what else is this guy doing? With his donations. I don't think anybody who's giving him donations thinks that they're helping him buy an airline ticket to London so he can go swim in the river on a 10K. I just don't. But I don't think when they find out, I don't think they care. There's a whole group of them that are helping him do this bullshit. Usually, like if this was the head, if he was, he had a small business and they found out that he was skimming money off of everybody's paycheck and then going off to London on a vacation off of everybody's, he's taking $10 off of $100 off of everybody's paycheck over a period of like 6 months. It's 6 months or whatever, enough that they don't really notice it, but he's taking it. We put some fake tax thing in their paycheck and he's just taking their money. And then he runs off and he does a marathon in the south of France or wherever, in wherever. He would be, if he got caught, they'd say, "Hey, that's embezzlement. That's, you can't do that. You stole money. You changed the books. You did all this thing to get this money. So you could go do that." How is this any different? Because it's donations and it's his disciples and whatever, he can go right on YouTube and go, "Hey, send me money. I want to go swim in the river, and you're really helping me get these books to Turkey." Somehow, he doesn't explain how. I don't know if he's swimming them there. I don't know. I don't know how if he's gonna swim these books to Turkey or what. But I don't know what his swimming in London in the river has to do with book distribution. And it's not even book distribution. They make it sound like it's such a noble thing. Book distribution. We got to get these books. Nobody wants these books. It's begging. You're begging. Hey, we want to go to Turkey. Send us money so we can go to Turkey and we can beg the people to buy a book. We'll give them a book. All you got to do is give us a couple bucks. They give us a couple bucks, we'll give them a book. It's not even book distribution. It's book begging. It's like, hey, it's basically it's the rephrasing of, hey, if you give me some money, I'll give you this book. But they turn it into this, oh, hey, you like John Lennon? I got this book about John Lennon, Bhagavad Gita. You ever heard that? And then they do this whole spiel, sales pitch thing, and then they like, hey, and then you can keep the book, but I just need like a $2 donate. How is that any different than begging? I've had crackheads come up to me and go, "Hey man, I'll give you this this broken thing, if you give me a couple bucks." How is that any different? Hey, here's this stupid book that you don't want, but if you give me can you give me a couple bucks for it? And if you do that, look, you do that 100 times a day to every person you see. No matter what you have, someone's going to say, people are going to go, yeah. It doesn't matter if it could be anything. I'm looking around. What do I have? It can be anything. It doesn't matter. It could be a keychain. It could be whatever. So yeah, it works with books. It works with Bhagavad Gita or whatever. And the better pitch you have, you know, like if you have like a funny pitch, which is what these guys do. They're like, hey, I don't have any hair, but you have hair. You know, I wish I had hair. Or whatever stupid pitch that they have, that they use, that they've been using for 40 years because it works for them. And everybody's different. So, you know, Brigupati's got the, hey, I like your haircut. I wish I could do that, but I'm a monk and I got this book, Bhagavad Gita, and he's got this pitch that he's been using for 45, 50 years. But and that's no different than a guy that comes with a vacuum cleaner and goes, hey, I see you got a dirty rug. You know what? I got a vacuum that'll clean that spot. Watch. It is no different. It's no different. You know, it's like you didn't ask for that vacuum cleaner guy to come knock on your door. Hey, I got a vacuum. No one asked you for that. No one asked you to go around with that book and try and. Nobody wants that book. Open up a book. Set up a table with a sign that says Krishna books, Hare Krishna books. And see how many, and wait for people to come up to you and see how many books you sell. See how many books you sell. It's going to be like next to zero. Nobody wants them. But if you run around and you push that book into everybody's face that you see, eventually you're going to sell it. You're going to sell a bunch of books. You're going to go back to the temple and go, yeah, I sold 25 books. You know, woo, yay! He sold 25 books. Oh my God, he's one of our best book distributors. Once you realize that scam, it's like, that's a total scam. And this guy's on YouTube going, hey, send me money so I can continue to run this scam. And I'm going to go, and by the way, I'm going to go over to London. I'm going to swim in this thing. And on your dime. Because look at me, I'm a guru. I don't have any money. If I had money, I wouldn't be doing this bullshit. And that's the scam of these guys. It's the scam of these guys getting bolder and bolder. Like, you know, before it was just send me some donations so I can just live freely, you know, whatever. Now it's like, hey, no, I want to go to London and I need a new, this is what totally cracks me up. I need a new wetsuit. Can you send me some donations so I can get a new wetsuit? I need a new wetsuit. In fact, I think I look kind of stylish in my wetsuit there. You know, I kind of feel like, I don't know, the guy that won the gold medals. What does he think he's going to win a gold medal in his swimming, in his little swimming outfit there? But, you know, I'm sure that swimming outfit is top of the line and it costs a lot of money because, hey, you can't have a pure devotee swimming around in no cheap ass wetsuit. Man, only the best wetsuit from my pure devotee guru. What the fuck? The fuck? It's insane. I already did a show about this guy. You know, I already talked about him for a while, but now look at this. I should have waited. I should have waited for this. I only had to wait a couple days. And then we got this going on. That's just outrageous. These gurus, it's you know,
Has the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here who gives a shit about the rules?
You know, like these guys can do anything. Look at this guy. He's like looking at him. Yeah, looking at him, smiling. He's like smiling away. Like, yeah, I donated $500 for that. I went out and sold a friggin' 15 shopping carts full of books to help him pay for his wetsuit. You know, that's an expensive wetsuit there. You know, I can't have my guru. Look at that big smile on his face. Like, I'm being cheated. Look at, he's just like, I'm totally being cheated. And he's just laughing. He's just laughing away. And, you know, I would wager that wetsuit probably costs upwards of, you know, $300. I don't even know what a wetsuit costs, but first of all, I know wetsuits aren't cheap, and I know that, you know, that they can go up in money. I would imagine that that's probably one of the better ones. I don't know anything about the brand or anything, but I don't know why he doesn't have like a little wetsuit for his bead bag, like a little wetsuit for his bead bag, so his beads don't get wet while he's swimming. While he's swimming in the river, man, it is just too friggin' funny. I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with this anymore. In 1986, our Sangha was selling mass-produced Taiwanese oil paintings. You know, so I joined in '92. So I joined in '92, and I heard, of course, everybody that I met, you know, were in the. When I first met devotees, I met all these old-time fringe devotees that were living near the temple, but they weren't like, they didn't go to the temple. But they were old-time devotees, had been around for a long time. They knew everything. So, and I was like reading Bhagavad Gita and all that. So those are the devotees that I first met. And these are devotees that were like old-time Prabhupada disciples. Like Sri Maya and Veera Lakshman and Radhakunda and Janardana, and I can't even begin to. And then when I went to the temple, I was working for Nishringananda and all, like, and Suradas was there, and Swavas and all of these old time devotees. Well, Swavas, I guess he wasn't. I don't know, but that's who I originally was hanging around with when I first became. And when I heard about how things somehow went from books to paintings and stickers and rock and roll T-shirts at concerts and hats and other things, I can't even remember all the other things that they were selling. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it. It didn't jive with what I was reading in Prabhupada's books, because here I am, I'm new, and I'm reading Prabhupada's books, and I'm getting all this information, all this instruction from Prabhupada, and then devotees that I'm talking to and meeting are telling me about how, yeah, we were selling paintings and we were selling rock T-shirts at concerts, and we were selling blacklight paintings, and I don't know, just I can't even remember all the things. Hats, caps, hats, just anything that you would find people selling on the street. I guess I didn't understand it. I did not understand like how they did that. It was really strange. It was really strange. And then hearing, seeing devotees come in here and telling me the same thing has always been just like, wow, like you were actually doing that too. Like, I do get it. Now I get it. It's a big scam. And it, like, once I started selling stuff on the street and learning about sales and getting into sales and telesales and different types of marketing stuff, then I realized that selling is selling. So you got Prabhupada teaching these guys, having these guys go out and learn how to sell shit on the street, books, incense, whatever. And then at some point they realized, hey, we can make more money selling different items because the selling is the same. The selling doesn't matter. Selling doesn't matter. Once you learn how to sell something, the product doesn't really matter. Once you understand the concept of people that are buying something, once you understand the concept of the mind of a buyer, then selling is pretty easy. So Later I understood how, okay, that's how they went to selling paintings, because why would I sell a book? Why would I sell a book for a couple bucks and make a couple bucks when I could sell a painting and make 10, 20 bucks on the painting, or out of 30 bucks or 40 bucks or whatever, how much profit it was. Instead of $3, I'm making 30 bucks. Or instead of 10 bucks, I'm making 100 bucks. Well, why wouldn't you do it? Screw the books. Well, screw the books. This is a scam. I gotta get with the scam. I gotta get with the scam. I did want to show a video a little bit, because I just love the magical mystery tours of every devotee, how they have a magical mystery tour. They got into the cult. And so here's one. Here's one. Coming up next, we have, I don't know this person.
Hare Krishna. I'm very happy to share with you how I came to Krishna consciousness. My name is Devaki Devidasi. I am originally from Germany. So when I was living in Germany as a young girl, I always had this burning desire to do something for the suffering people in this world. And because we usually identify with the body, I was thinking the best thing to do for suffering people is to help diseased people. So I took a medical profession. I was working in rehabilitation as a physiotherapist in Germany. But then very quickly, in due course of my work, I realized I actually cannot really give people what they need to be happy. And I could very clearly see there is some other reason why people are suffering, why they're depressed, why they feel empty in their hearts. So even though I had materially everything, I was living in a nice flat, I earned a lot of money, I had a car, nice friends, everything, simply I was not satisfied. And at some stage I decided, let me give everything up. So I sold everything, I gave everything away.
I got to stop there for a second, because what are you saying here, Glenn? Good to see you, Glenn. Good to see Ezra, everybody. Making money for ISKCON was the top and possibly only priority. Well, yeah. See, it became distributing Prabhupada's books was the top priority, and then when they realized, well, we can make more money selling T-shirts at a Rolling Stones concert, or stickers, passing out stickers and getting donations, getting $1 for a 10-cent sticker or $2 for a 5-cent sticker, then we'll do that because we'll make more money, and then under the guise of we'll give that money to Prabhupada. No. So the making the money with something other than books was a way to pocket more money. Just pocket more money. And it's just a big scam. But with this woman here, I wanted to comment that, of course, every Hare Krishna somehow, they think that they were on some spiritual path. They've always been this spiritual person. They just didn't know. They just didn't have the right. They just didn't know which way to turn, which way to go. They were like, but they were on the spiritual path. Every one of them. At 12 years old, I rejected this, and then I rejected that. Like, she's already saying, like, she doesn't want to say, nobody wants to say, yeah, I read Prabhupada's books, I got brainwashed, and I just changed and became a brainwashed knucklehead zombie, and I believe in all of this crap. No, nobody wants to say that, right? Everybody wants to say, well, I was always on this path, and when I was 5, I realized everybody was suffering. And when I was 10, I didn't want to hurt the bugs. And then, when I was 12, I rejected everything, and I didn't want to eat at the family table. And you know, when I was in high school, you know, I did this, and you know, like somehow all of these things mean all of these random things, or even if they're not completely random, because nothing's completely random, but even that all these things is somehow steering them towards Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Somehow every twist and turn in life, she's at the point now where she's giving up. I had a job and I had this, and then I gave it all up. And who talks like that? Unless identify. Most people identify with the body. Who talks like that? Identify with the body.
Thinking, what is our daughter doing? She's going crazy. So I gave everything away, I sold everything, I packed a backpack, and I started traveling, searching for the medicine which would give real happiness.
Okay. Once again, she rejects everything, all her material things. She backs up a backpack and she goes traveling. So is she traveling penniless? Does she has mom and dad that she can fall back on, so she can reject everything and just go travel? Traveling is not cheap. I mean, what was she, a hippie? Was she sleeping on people's couches, on bus benches? When she says she was traveling with a backpack, what does she mean? I mean, did she have one of these Euro passes like I was saying before? I rejected everything but my Euro pass, so I could travel Europe and see the world. But while I'm rejecting material life, I'm just going to go travel. And I don't know. First of all, do I even believe this cockamamie story? Not really. I really, I really don't. I really don't believe things happen the way she's making it out to be. I just don't. I believe that there are events in the life that she's using as milestones or markers. Yeah, I did the, there was, my early years and then my teenage years and then my young adult years and this. But is she cultifying? Is she looking back at her thoughts, at her activities, and implanting her current mentality? Is she applying her current mentality to past memories and going, yeah, I was 5 and I wanted to be a vegetarian because I could see that we're all living souls. And when I was 10, I was identifying with the body. And everybody identified with the body. And then when she was 15, she came up with the term, I'm going to reject material existence, on her own. Or is she using phraseology and terminology that she got from Prabhupada's books, and she's implanting them into her earlier years' memory? I could do that. I could say, hey, when I was 12 years old, my mom gave me a book. It was called, Krishnamurti. And I didn't know who Krishnamurti was, but I kind of felt inside that I was connecting with Krishnamurti through his books because it was very impersonal. It was Mayavadi. And I kind of got an idea of what it was, but then I rejected Krishnamurti too. And then, when I was in high school, I had this teacher, and this is all true stuff. This is all stuff that I have, but I'm Krishnafying it. When I was in high school, I had this teacher, and he was kind of like this spaced out, kind of like an Indian guru type guy. He had a guru, and he was older guy, right? So he was like an Allen Ginsberg type guy, right? He was like an older guy. But he was like into this Mayavadi impersonalism. He was into he was very Sunyavad and all of this stuff. and he understood the Brahman experience, but he could not understand the personal form of the Lord. So I ended up rejecting him too. And then years later, I got into reading the Bible, and that kind of got me onto a path. But I never became a Christian. But I kind of became interested in the Bible as a historical document, and that kind of led me on. And then I got into, as far as Bhagavad Gita, I accepted that as a historical document and started to read that in the same way that I read the Bible. But Super Soul took hold, and I became a devotee. And so, and then I could add in all these other stupid little things that devotees sprinkle in there and go, yeah. And then, I was crossing the street and somebody yelled out, Rama, or I saw, the Shapa Rama thing, and I just knew that Lord Rama. You can add in all those little things, and I saw Hare Krishnas when I was a kid, and my brother lived across the street from the Hare Krishnas, and I remember going to the movies in Westwood, and we would see the Hare Krishnas, and I just knew, I could tell you can Krishnafy anybody's story about anything. It's not unique in any way, in any way.
Around Australia. And then finally in Australia, in Sydney.
She traveled around Africa and Australia.
I met the ISKCON devotees. That was in 1985. And I actually came to an ISKCON farm without really knowing anything about Krishna consciousness. I was really searching. I was checking out any organization, anything I could get my hands on, basically, but simply nothing really appealed to me. So, and then one day I was getting so frustrated within my heart, I was really crying out. Well, I did not know about Krishna, but ultimately I was crying out to Krishna, what am I going to do with my life? Where am I going to go? So then I had a list of farms in connection with the WWOOFing. WWOOFing is willing workers on organic farms. It's an organization where young traveling people can stay on farms and work and get free accommodation and food. So I had this list of farming communities which accept woofers. And there was this address, Bhaktivedanta Ashram, on it. And somehow I remember distinctly when
she got tricked. She got tricked. She thought she was just going. She thought she was just going to a farm where she could work and have a place to stay for a while, and like one of these work live programs or work programs. For travelers, I guess, and so the Hare Krishnas, they put their address in there. They're like, "Hey, well, we're a farm, and people can come stay with us." And and she got tricked. She got tricked into that. That's what happened.
Saw this name, something in my heart was telling me, "Go there, go there." And then I thought, no, why should I go there? Let me have a look where the other farms are. So I had a map. I was looking where all these farms are. But again and again, Super Soul was pushing me, go to this Bhaktivedanta Ashram.
To that one, yeah.
So I was ringing and asking, so can I come for a week? I want to work in the garden, and I'm a woofer. So the temple president answered the phone, and he said, well, have you been to one of our restaurants? Have you read our books? And I said, no. And he said, well, maybe you should do this first. And I said, listen, I'm not interested in books and restaurants. I simply want to come out for 1 week and work on the farm and be there with you. And then he said, okay, you can come. So I came there, and later on
Okay, I don't know why. I know I'm nitpicking. But I don't know why, but I don't believe that story. I don't believe that a temple president and she had a conversation with the temple president about that she should not come and read the books first. That story I don't believe, but anyway.
Told me that he announced at breakfast prasadam, there's this strange German woman coming. She's not interested in our philosophy. She just wants to work in the garden. So I came there and I saw, oh no, these are all guys in saffron robes with shaved heads. Oh my God, where am I here, you know? So I thought, all right, let me go there. Now I lined it all up. I can survive 1 week, no problem. So that was Colo River Farm outside Sydney. We don't have that farm today anymore. We had to sell the property. So when I came there was one devotee. He was a brahmachari at the time. He was the head pujari. His name is Radhesham Prabhu. He is now married. He's living in Switzerland. So he is Swiss, and Swiss people, they also speak German. And he had all of Prabhupada's books in German. Not all, but some. So and immediately he started preaching to me. He was the head pujari at the time for Hare Krishna deities, and he immediately engaged me in the pujari room, even though I was wearing my hippie kami clothes. He got me in there in my clothes. He didn't ask me to get changed or nothing. And he engaged me all day, polishing the paraphernalia. He even got me to cut up the food offering. Yes, even though I was even smoking at the time still. I had no intention to become a devotee, so I was making my own cigarettes and smoking behind the house there. Yes. Yeah, well, we Westerners, we grow up with all these bad habits, you know. So, and he engaged me in service, even to cut up the food offering for the Lord. And I loved to do it. I was making a whole...
Okay, so that kind of tells you two things. One is that the regulative principles she didn't need to follow the regulative principles for this brainwashing to work on her, because she was smoking cigarettes or weed or whatever she was smoking. She didn't need for regulative principles or to follow any principle, any regulative principles for the brainwashing to work. But what he did get out of it, well, it was a farm, so she's there to work on the farm in order to have a place to sleep. But they definitely got their free labor. That's what they want, is their free labor. They got it. He put her to work immediately in the pujari room doing whatever. He didn't care that she wasn't even a devotee. He just put her to work in the puja, but he put her to work not on the farm. You know, she's not like feeding pigs or feeding chickens or, you know, baling hay or whatever that you do on a farm, milking a cow. She's not doing any of that, which is probably what she thought she was doing. Now she's in there doing cult stuff, like right off the bat. They got her in there doing the cult stuff, and she didn't need to follow any regular principles for her to get brainwashed at all. Because I had a conversation recently about the regular principles and the brainwashing, and I was saying nobody's following the 4 regular principles for the brainwashing to take hold. It's the brainwashing works first, and then because of the brainwashing, then you start following the 4 regular principles. Well, they kind of go together, but they'll tell you, oh, Prabhu, you don't have to do anything. You can just chant Hare Krishna.
Artistic, you know, arrangement there on the big tray with all the different foods, and I decorated them, and I loved doing it, you know, yes. And at the same time, he was preaching to me all day. I had so many questions. I was very, very suspicious. I did not do anything which I did not understand. I didn't even take Charnamrita. I was not circumambulating Tulsi Devi in the mornings, nothing, because I did not know what it was and I couldn't understand it, so I refused to do it. So I had so many questions, and he's a very good preacher, so he really answered all my questions perfectly. So, but then after 3...
So that's how the brainwashing works. In the beginning, she was smart enough to know, why would I worship this plant, this tree, this Tulsi Devi? Why would I sing prayers to this tree and worship this tree and do all this thing for this tree? Because she's thinking like a normal person, like, why would I do this? But then after the brainwashing works in, she's like, that's totally normal. It's totally normal to, and somehow she said she needed to understand it before she would do it. So somehow now she understands it. Like, it makes total sense to her that Lakshmi, or I believe it's Lakshmi, takes the form of Tulsi. Prabhupada explains this in Krishna book, and a lot of people are confused by a lot of this, but I believe it's Lakshmi takes the form of Tulsi, and then appears as Tulsi Devi, and then marries Lord Vishnu is in Tulsi, and they have a marriage. And how why Lakshmi takes the form of Tulsi Devi, this plant, this tree, this plant. I forget. I forget the details on why she does that. I'm just drawing a blank. I can't remember why she does that. But somehow, before she became a Hare Krishna, she understood that kind of thing doesn't happen, and and that this is just a tree, and it doesn't make sense. But then after she got brainwashed into it, now she understands why she should be worshiping this tree and saying prayers to it and bowing down and putting water on it and doing the whole thing. Somehow now it makes sense to her.
Yes, I actually wanted to leave the farm because my visa ran out. My visa for Australia was finished. And I said to him, all right, yeah, it's all very nice, but somehow I think it's not for me and I want to go. I want to go to New Zealand. My visa's finished and so on. And he said to me, what? You can't go now?
I started Tai Chi at 50. Now I'm 68. And doctors ask me for it.
You promised you would stay for 1 week. You can't go. You have to stay for 1 week. He nailed me on that, because I did say, yes, I come for 1 week. So he really said, you have to stay for 1 week?
So what?
And I thought, all right, if you really want me to stay for 1 week, I can stay for a few days longer, no problem. So and then all the time he asked me, did you read something? Did you read something? He was giving me some books. He was giving me Signs of Self-Realization and Bhagavad Gita. And he was always asking, did you read something? And the first few days I didn't read. But then I thought, all right, let me read. And I started reading Signs of Self-Realization parallel with Bhagavad Gita. First chapter Bhagavad Gita was too many names for me, so I flicked to the second chapter. And immediately, as soon as I started reading, wow, I found so many answers. Second chapter, so many nice verses, Yes, and 2 days later, I realized, that's it. No need for me to go anywhere else. I had found what I had been looking for, yes. It was quite a amazing.
She she jumped right to the part where he says that women are less intelligent, and she clicked in on that. I think it's in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is where he throws that in. It might even be the first chapter, I'm not sure, but so that's a good example of how this brainwashing works and how they bullied her. She got bullied into it. She got tricked into going there because they listed their temple farm project as one of these workplaces. Then she went there thinking it was just a work farm where she could just work on a farm and then whatever. And it wasn't. It was like a temple thing. They put her to work right away. She didn't really care. She was smoking cigarettes or whatever she was smoking, and she didn't care about that. But it kind of clicked in her head a little bit, and she said, I don't know if it's for me. But then they bullied her. He bullied her and said, no, you can't leave. You got to stay. You said you'd stay for a week. You got to stay. Here's some books. Read some books. And then he probably guilted her into it, like, hey, we did all this for you. and now you just want to bounce out. You said you'd give us a week, and we made all this accommodations for you, and now they probably guilted her into staying, because to them they don't care. They'll use whatever they'll use whatever tactic they can get to get her to stay. So they did something to get her to stay, and she says, hey, I didn't want to stay. It wasn't for me, but he gave me some books, and I stayed. And again, I don't know if I believe all of this, but anyway, according to what she's saying. So then she ends up staying. She ends up reading a little bit and going, oh, I want to stay. Just like that. Just like the guy whose grandmother passed away, and he got a book from somebody, and within a month or so, he's off in India milking a cow. There's something about Prabhupada's imaginary fantasy land world that's kind of, interesting. It's like, it sounds kind of cool. These books are full of bullshit. Women like to be raped. Women have small brains. Women are less intelligent, 9 times lustier than men. Black people are ugly, belong in the jungles. If you build a library, they just come for drinking. They're vicious animals. We can use the good ones, but we don't want anything to do with the bad ones. All the child abuse, 11-year-old girls can be married, should be married, must be married. Hitler was a great guy. Hitler was a good guy. He was a great man. He was a gentleman. He would never hurt anybody. He had the atom bomb, but he didn't drop it. I don't believe that he murdered. I don't believe that he killed millions of Jews in the concentration camps. This is the stuff. This is the guy, and this is the stuff that's in these books. The man who wrote these books. These are the books he wants to take to Turkey. This is the books that turned this woman into a Hare Krishna. Women have small brains. Women are less intelligent. Women are 9 times lustier than men. There's 3 things you can beat: a dog, a woman, and a drum. All kinds of bullshit in his books, and somehow they can brainwash you. Don't ask me how. I don't want to read them again. But yeah, it's just crazy. Shit's crazy. And she's crazy. I don't even want to hear any more from her. I heard enough. I've heard so many of these stories. But anyway, this is an interesting one, because when you read between the lines, you see that she was tricked into this thing. She was tricked. She was a young woman. She ended up in Australia. She met the devotees there because they put their farm on the list they put their temple project thing on a list of farms where people could go, where hippies could go and work, and she ended up there. And through a little coercion, a little bullying, a little guilt tripping, they got her. And now she's been a Hare Krishna for like the last 40, 50 years or whatever it is. 1985, 1986? Was that 40 years? She's been a Hare Krishna for 40 years? I was a Hare Krishna for 20 years. And all these Hare Krishnas, like, they get initiated and they got their Brahminical thread after 2 years. Or they get initiated and then I read some of these guys. I remember now they're like His Grace Radhakunda Das, Her Grace Devaki Devi Dasi, His Grace Chanchalapati Das. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm Srila Srimakunda Das then. If this woman is Her Grace Devaki Devi Dasi, then I'm Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mukunda Swami. I'm Bhaktivedanta Mukunda Swami. If this lady is Her Grace Devaki Devi Dasi, what title should I have? I should have had my, I was initiated in what, 2001, after already being in it for 8 years. So I was in it for 8 years. I should have been initiated after 2. And then I should have got my, or 1, and then my Brahminical thread after 2nd year. Now I was in it for 8, and then got my first initiation. And then they wanted to give me my 2nd initiation, but we never did it. And Yashodananda was pushing me to get it because he likes to do that stuff. And then I bounced out before. If I had stayed, I would have got my Brahminical thread, like 8, 9, like 10 years after my first initiation. So it's like, really, I'm not just, Sri Mukundadas, really, I'm Bhaktivedanta Mukunda Swami is that's really who I am. This Ileana, when she comes in here and she's like Jagat Guru, right? She's close. She's close. But of course, I'm just kidding. But let's look at another one of these wackos. While we looked at him, we looked at her. Here's one. Let me see. What is he talking about here? I got this.
Krishna and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. My dear Brahmana, as far as your daughters are concerned, they will find their own suitable husbands and go away to their respective homes. But who will give me solace after your departure as a sannyasi? Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is said that the father himself becomes the son in another form. The father and son are therefore considered to be non-different. A widow who has her son is actually not a widow because she has the representative of her husband. Similarly, Devahuti is indirectly asking Kardama Muni to leave a representative so that in his absence, she might be relieved of her anxieties by a suitable son. A householder is not expected to remain at home for all his days.
Okay, I think I actually talked about one of this verse, but I wanted to see this guy. I wanted to show you this guy. Let's see this guy here.
Maybe even could have seen traces of it even about 30, 40 years back. But with more and more westernization of Indian society, whatever is the Western culture is coming over to the Indian side also. Sometimes people think that no freedom, the society's injunction to give protection to women through a system of either the father, son, or husband is something which is limiting the freedom of women. It is not about limiting the freedom of women. Women also can be intelligent, not can be intelligent, they can be more intelligent than men sometimes. All kinds of intelligences are there in this world, which even modern science has found out. It's not there is only one kind of intelligence. There is somebody who can have, let's say, good in mathematics. He may not be good in music. Somebody may have a very good musical intelligence. that somebody else may have good in mathematical intelligence. So intelligence itself, or different kinds of intelligences, are recognized as a reality. Similarly, there is one intelligence which is called emotional intelligence. Not very subtle spiritual intelligence we are talking about. Emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence means how to manage your emotions. Just like mathematical intelligence is how to manage in your mind the numbers.
Okay, I think we all know where he's going with this.
Musical intelligence is how to manage sound, harmony, symmetry, all these kind of patterns, recognizing sound patterns. This is musical intelligence. Correspondingly, there will be a musical memory. Whoever has got good musical intelligence will have good musical memory. Without memory, intelligence doesn't work. Similarly, mathematical intelligence means you need to have memory of numbers. Like that, different kinds of intelligence. So many kinds of intelligences are there. Kinesthetic intelligence is there. Somebody has got a good memory of the movements, and then such a person can manipulate movements in his mind. Someone has got spatial intelligence. He can memorize spaces and
Okay, first of all, I have to say that I think we know where he's going with this. But the point I want to make is, and this might be some kind of semantics, but he's trying to say that you can be intelligent in math, and then you're stupid in other things, and so that intelligence, you can be smart in music, you can be smart in math, you can be smart in art, mixing colors, and all these different things. But I think what he's doing is he's mixing up talent or ability with intelligence. Intelligence is not having the talent to do every single thing, right? Like someone who's smart, who's intelligent, can analyze things. They can infer subtle things. They can put different pieces of information together that other people may not see the relationship to. They can solve problems in ways that other people can't. Let's say like a police detective. He has to have certain intelligence to be able to figure things out that a lot of us might miss. We might miss this clue. So that's intelligence. You have to be able to analyze things. You have to know your limits to what you can do. Of course, nobody's going to be, unless they're Leonardo da Vinci, nobody's going to be great in every single thing that they do. And even if somebody's really talented in a certain field, that doesn't mean that they have intelligence. They might not even have intelligence about the field that they excel in. They just excel in it. It's just, so he's talking about intelligence. He's trying to get to the part where women are less intelligent. I don't know how he's going to get there, but that's what he's teeing this all up. This is what he's saying. Emotional intelligence, all these things, and women have a lack of. I absolutely know that's where he's going. Mindless intelligence. These guys are clowns. It's a mindless. Okay, I guess this is a good enough. This is a good enough place to remind everybody. This is a good enough time to remind everybody that this man right here, this guy, right? over here. This guy over here. Right there. This guy right here. Okay. He's the head of the Bangalore temple. And the Bangalore temple has this character that they represent, that they promote, who was arrested in Cambodia on child debauchery charges. He was sentenced to jail, and they paid a judge to let him out. He did some time in a Cambodian jail. That's who this guy here, that's who this guy here has lecturing on his behalf. This guy right here. This guy right here.
Reorganize spaces just like an architect. He's got a spatial intelligence. He can design spaces. He can visualize in his mind already existing, and he can move here and there without building. So this is architectural intelligence. So the mistake that we do is when we take a statement from the Vedas and we don't understand that statement properly. For several places, Prabhupada has also told, scriptures have also told, here and there, you should see the context. Women are less intelligent, it is said. And it is obviously, it's not generalized, you cannot generalize.
Okay, so he wants to contradict Prabhupada. Prabhupada said women are less intelligent. He says that many times. He says they have small brains. He says that a man's brain is 64 ounce and a woman's brain is only 32 ounce or 38 ounce. This is not something that has to be debated. And this is not something that has to be discussed. Prabhupada said it. He said women are less intelligent, they have small brains, they like to be raped. He explains what rape is. Rape means without consent. Otherwise, there is no rape. And women like sometimes. Women like rape. They like a man who's expert at rape. There's no confusion. There's no context. Prabhupada creates the context. Prabhupada says within this context, women like to be raped. Within the context of rape means without consent, women like it. There's no question about it. Prabhupada says women should never be given independence. They have to be under their son-in-law, their son, their son-in-law, their husband, their father at some point in their life. They need to be married at 12 years old, 13 years old to a grown man, and they are never to be given independence. He says they don't need to go to school. He says they don't need to learn anything. Just how to sew, a little sewing, a little cooking, taking care of the kids. It's it. These guys want to act like they're a holy man, and they're telling you the truth, and they're going to explain it for you, and then they sit up there and they fucking lie. This guy has a known child predator, convicted child predator, lecturing in his temple on his behalf. And he's going to sit there and lecture you about telling the truth and about being good and women and emotion, whatever. You've got to be out of your fucking mind. And he's going to sit there and talk about how women are less intelligent and how we don't understand the Vedas. When the Vedas say women are less intelligent and they need to be under the control of their father, their husband, their son-in-law, we don't understand. It's us that doesn't understand. When Prabhupada says it in his books, somehow we don't understand it. It's plain as day, but Mr. Predator Protector over here, he's got to explain it to us because we might not understand it correctly. So once the Predator gets off the stage, this guy will get on stage and he'll explain it away the way it needs to be explained. And if I wasn't sitting here saying it and explaining this, nobody would. Nobody would be sitting here telling anybody that this is happening. These, these people, man, that's why I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if they're Ritviks, gurus, good enough gurus, Ritvik gurus. You can't trust these guys. You can't believe anything they say. Don't take your kids around them. Don't go to their restaurants. Don't read their books. Don't have anything to do with them. They want you to read a book by a guy who flat out says, I don't believe Hitler killed millions of Jews in concentration camps. He refuses to believe it. He doesn't want to believe it. Why? Why is that so hard to believe? Why does that bother him so much? Why doesn't he want to believe it? What loyalty test is he playing? What bullshit is he trying to pull on people? Well, he's pulling it on people just like this. Just like this. Hitler was a good man. Hitler was a good man. I think Hitler was a good man. I don't believe he killed all those Jews in the concentration camps. Nah. And they worship this guy. They worship him. They throw flowers at his statue of him. They throw flowers at the statue. They pray to the statue of him. Dress the statue up like it's a Ken doll. Put food in front of the statue like it's a Ken doll. It's going to eat the food. Like it's a adult friggin' Barbie party with statues dressed up and food put out for them to eat. Meanwhile, they got these books full of all this bullshit that they're out begging people to take. Take my book and give me $2. Hey, you like John Lennon? Look, here's a book of John Lennon. It's only 50 years old, but hey, it's got John Lennon on the cover of it because we don't have anybody else to put on there. We haven't had a worthwhile celebrity join our cult since George Harrison, 1968. So, hey, take this book of John Lennon, who didn't even like us, but we're using his picture to sell a book because we can't use George Harrison's picture because we'll get sued if we put his picture on the book. So we put John Lennon's picture on the book because, they don't care. Why don't they put George Harrison's picture on the book? Why do they put John Lennon's picture on the book? It's all a bunch of bullshit, man. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Let me see. Where's the next freak? Where's the next freak? Here's the one.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Hare Krishna Project podcast. This is episode number 155 and the first edition, the first episode of 2025. Can you believe it? We are starting 2025 with a brand new episode of the Hare Krishna Project podcast. Do not forget, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button so you can be kept updated about future podcasts and video productions from the Hare Krishna Project. And or if you're watching this on Facebook, which is the other location you can watch this podcast, if you haven't already, please do like or follow the Hare Krishna Project Facebook page. So you can be kept updated about future podcasts and video productions from the Hare Krishna Project and all the other exciting things we do and we will continue to do through 2025. Book distribution, school visits, Hare Krishna festivals, I'm actually really excited about 2025. I feel like there's so much to do. I wish I had more time to do it all. But anyway, okay, this week's edition of the podcast, we are back to the United States. We're kicking off. I've just actually remembered a year ago, the first episode of 2024 was with an American. Actually, I've just remembered that. And this year's first edition is with an American too. These Americans certainly get about, don't they? And they've always got something to say. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome our guest this week. It's Mahatma Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Jai Jai, Hari Hari Bol, obeisances of Lord Prabhupada.
Jai,
Hari Hari Bol.
Jai, Jai, Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada indeed. Mahatma Prabhu.
Okay, so as you can see, if you're not a Hare Krishna out there, and you're watching, you can see the first thing they did was they said a prayer to the founder and the guy that wrote these books that says that women are less intelligent and women like to be raped, that black people are ugly and belong in the jungles, and that we'll use the good. We can use the good Negroes, but we don't want anything to do with the vicious animals that are in Detroit. And he said that Hitler was a gentleman, and that he doesn't believe that Hitler would kill millions of Jews in concentration camps. Hitler didn't do that. And so the man that said all of that and put all that shit in his books, his lectures, his tapes, his recordings of it, I've played all that shit. They both said prayers to him. They just prayed to that guy. Let's hear it again. They're going to say a prayer. They're going to say a prayer to this guy.
Watching this on Facebook, which is the other location you can watch this podcast. If you haven't already, please do like or follow the Hare Krishna Project Facebook page, so you can be kept updated about future podcasts and video productions from the Hare Krishna Project and all the other exciting things we do and we will continue to do through 2025. Book distribution, school visits, Hare Krishna festivals. I'm actually really excited about 2025. I feel like there's so much to do. I wish I had more time to do it all. But anyway, okay, this week's edition of the podcast, we are back to the United States. We're kicking off. I've just actually remembered a year ago, the first episode of 2024 was with an American. Actually, I've just remembered that. And this year's first edition is with an American too. These Americans certainly get about, don't they? And they've always got something to say. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome our guest this week. It's Mahatma Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Jai Jai, Hari Hari Bol, obeisances of Lord Prabhupada.
Jai,
Hari Hari Bol.
Jai, Jai, Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada indeed.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jai Jai Srila Prabhupada. So there you go. The first thing they start off is they have to offer their obeisances to him and pray to him before they can even begin to speak to each other.
Mahatma Prabhu, it's great to have you with us. You and I was just thinking earlier today, you and I have been in contact with each other for quite a long time, actually. I'd say it's at least 6 months, maybe, or 4 or 5 months, and you've become a great contact in terms of all different issues. And yeah, a friend of yours, a very close friend of yours, I had the privilege of interviewing last year as well, Anu Bhavananda Prabhu, the Prabhupada's poet. That podcast that was about 3 months ago, I think. Time's gone incredibly quick. But Prabhupada's poet. Okay, we're going to have a fascinating conversation today, and we've got some really, really important topics to discuss. So we're going to kick off with a nice, easy question. It's the question that every guest gets. Mahatma Prabhu, please tell us a little bit about you and where you are from.
Yeah, I was born in Chile. My father is Spaniard, my mother French. And on the side of my mother, her last name is Freire, derived from the word friar. So she's actually a descendant of ex-mendicant French monks. And I have a great granduncle who.
So again, of course, with the with the Magical Mystery Tour situation, his mother's maiden name means friar. She's descended from some monks, so of course that has something to do with him joining this friggin' pedophile cult. I don't know.
He's like the George Washington of Chile, actually.
He was destined
he liberated Chile from Spain and was elected president of Chile 3 times in the 1820s. And but the spiritual gene of the family, his name is General Raymond Freire. And learning about him helped me understand myself somewhat, you know. But my mother manifested the spiritual gene of the family, and she studied to be a nun. But she decided to marry and have children. She told me she prayed about me being a devotee, a mystic, before she met my dad. So I have very good spiritual self-esteem. She could have prayed harder and gotten a better son.
This is just I don't even have words for this.
But you know, yeah, she got according to her.
I do have to say, okay, so this is very important. This is so important that I forgot. This is so important I forgot to mention. I actually knew this devotee, this Mario Panetta guy. I knew him pretty well. I knew him for years. He was one of the devotees that I met when I first joined. I met him early on, probably around 93. And then he hired me to do some computer work for him. And he was kind of I'm not going to say he was a shady guy, but I am going to say he didn't want to pay me for the work that I did. And so we had kind of a falling out. I kind of had a falling out with him. And then years later, many years later, we kind of, I saw him again. He moved to Palmdale, I believe, and he was trying to do a Hare Krishna thing out there. And me, Yashoda, and me and some other devotees went out to his festival to support his festival. And that was basically the last time I saw him, was probably 2007, 2008, something like that. Personally, he was not a good friend. I didn't like him as a friend. He was a Hare Krishna guy, and he was a Ritvik, and he was on, and he lived in the neighborhood. So I'd run into him, but I wouldn't really call him a friend. But I did know him for years, and I did some work for him. So I actually do know this guy. I actually know him, which is really bizarre. I kind of seeing these characters now.
Sincerity. So yeah, she could have gotten a better son, I think. In any case, at 12 years old, I read my first book on love, The Art of Loving by Eric Fromm. And then I started practicing Hatha Yoga. At 15, I started chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. By that time, I was in LA, California already. And then I started practicing Kundalini Yoga.
You know, when someone asks you, like, so where are you from? You know, how'd you get in? You know, the answer is, I was born in Chile. My mother's from France and my father's from Spain. They moved to Chile, and I was born in 1959 or 1957. I ended up, and then I did a few things. I ended up in Los Angeles, and I joined the Hare Krishnas in 1986. That's it. That's all you got to say. That's basically it. You know, if someone was to ask me, like, how'd you join the Hare Krishnas, I'd say, well, I was living in LA. I was living probably about a mile from the LA temple. I ran into this guy. He was an old ex-devotee, and he gave me a book. And next thing you know, I became a Hare Krishna. That's it. That's it. It's not a 15-minute story that has none of this stuff has any significance at all. I just wanted to say that. I just had to say that. Okay, I'm sorry. my outburst.
And was part of the Jesus freak movement, you could say. I was in the trenches of that, praying to Jesus a lot. And then I got a book, the Krishna book, where it was explained that Siddha Loka is inferior, or it's a lower planetary system than Krishna Loka.
Even the host is bored.
And I said, wait a minute.
He's bored with the story.
I thought I was going to the highest planet. So I did an analysis, and I said, oh, yes, Krishna Loka is superior.
He did an analysis.
So I started going.
He did some kind of analysis, and he figured out that yeah, Krishna Loka is higher than Siddha Loka. I wonder what kind of analysis he did. He looked at a picture. He looked at a picture in one of Prabhupada's books, and he analyzed the picture and found that Krishna Loka was indeed higher than Siddha Loka.
And the feast reading back to Prabhupada magazine. I mean, back to Godhead magazine, and I joined full time after working 3 years at Warner Brothers, having a near-death experience in which I prayed very sincerely to Krishna. I realized I was using Krishna for my self-promotion, and he could kill me. So I prayed, Krishna, if I have any credit with you.
See, this is where I started to zone out and tune out and zone out and kind of get pissed off at listening to this crap. And I don't know why. I guess it's PTSD. I guess that's what it is. But for some reason, hearing these stories that I've heard so many times, just retold with different details, but it's the same friggin' story. It just, I don't know. I guess I don't know what it is. And maybe because I know him and I've heard his story in person many times. Maybe
you
that
can kill me if you want, but if I have any credit, let me live, and I'll go and surrender to you. So as soon as I got home, I went to a Christian, freaks, they used to call them, center near my house. And that guy predicted that in 2 years, I would start doing very, very significant service to God, and 2 years later,
what a wild prediction. What an amazing prediction. That now if the guy had said, hey, I predict that in 2 years, you're going to be a pilot for American Airlines and you're going to be flying between New York and Italy, Rome, weekly, and with a co-pilot, and her name is going to be Susan, and then that came true, I would be like, oh my God, wow, that guy really made an amazing prediction. But here's a guy who's a Jesus freak. He's running around doing this stuff. He runs in, he meets another Jesus freak in some place, and the Jesus freak tells the other Jesus freak, hey, I'm going to make a prediction. In 2 years, you're going to be really serving the Lord. Like, wow, really? Really, dude? That's your prediction? That's your prediction, is that I'm going to be serving the Lord? Like, I'm going to be really serving the Lord? I mean, that's your prediction? That's your prediction, dude? I mean, really, come on. You know what? You just give up the prediction business. So, just stop with the predictions.
So okay? I went looking for him. And he had moved to another city, 80,000 inhabitant city, about half an hour away. I had the faith that if I went over there, I would, find him. So the neighbor said, all the way now, I helped him move. He's in a white house, 2-story, with a green roof in front of a park.
And I think I know where this is going. This is going to another one of these magical mystery misadventures here. Let's see.
Sure enough, I parked right in front of the house. I parked right in front of the house, and there was Daniel coming down from the driveway, and of course I wanted to make him a devotee, right? So he knew Oh, I remember you 2 years ago, and I remember the very, very psychic guy. I remember the prophecy I said about you. And now I was camouflaged, but he could tell I was a Hare Krishna now. He said, "Oh, you're a Hare Krishna now." I said, "Yes, I am." Okay, good. Now, let me tell you, I know you come here to make me a devotee, but the Lord already told me what to do. I'm supposed to go with my Christian band all over the country, praising Jesus and so forth. I do go and have your Sunday feast once in a while, and so forth, and you're welcome here anytime, but don't tell my congregation that you are Hare Krishna. I can understand it, but they wouldn't. By the way, the Lord is telling me right now that the service that you're going to do for him, he's going to reveal it to you in the Hare Krishna movement.
Oh my God, this is the most amazing, the most amazing story I've ever heard. Since the deity came out of Lord Brahma's head, and then Lord Brahma gave it to Lord Brahma gave it to Lord Rama, and then Rama gave it to Lakshman, and Lakshman gave it to Kardama Muni, and he took it to Rishikesh, and then it ended up in Mathura, and then it went from here to there, and it ended up in this temple, and then, hey, I went and I found it, and I got to see it. This story is the most amazing story since that story. I just I can't get over how ridiculous this all sounds now that I'm out of this cult. I mean, it's just every single thing is somehow Krishna just guiding this guiding his way to I don't know what. It's just, I don't know. If he's lucky, one day he'll be swimming in the river. Someone will be paying. He'll be getting donations so that someone can, so he can go swim in the river and take these books and distribute them around the world to the Islamic-speaking Arabic nations. I guess I don't know. It's insane. This stuff is insane. I don't know. I think I've had enough. I think I've had enough of these guys for one day. I can only take so much from Bhakti Swimmerpada, scamming his followers to get so he can go swim in London on a 10K swim, and use Prabhupada's books as some kind of. Can you believe that these gurus? Okay, I gotta go. I got to go full screen for this. Can you believe that these ISKCON gurus are going to use Prabhupada's books to get their disciples to give money so that they can go have a good time and swim at some friggin' water park, or I don't know, do some 10K. I mean, you might as well be going to friggin' Wet and Wild, or raging rivers or something. I mean, why don't you just go to Vegas while you're at it and go to the MGM Grand? They got a water slide, or these gurus, they don't have any problem just getting on YouTube and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go do this 10K swim. And I want you to give me money. I want you to send me donations because I got to get these books over there to Turkey. So I need you to step it up. Can you step it up? Snap. Hey, come on. I need some money, man. I need a ticket to London. I need a room at the Ritz, and I need my ticket for the 10K swim marathon. I'm Bhakti Swimmerpada. What do you expect me to do? I got some swimming to do. Do you believe these guys? Yeah, I'm not sure what you're looking at. I don't know if you're looking at Swimmerpod or if you're looking at me. I don't know what you're looking at, but yeah, there's a lot to look at here. There's a lot to look at, and then just look at how. When you look at these guys, like this, like these two bozos. I mean, you look at these two bozos. You look at these two bozos, guys, right? You look at these two guys, you got to go, okay, I I can see where I just can see where he thinks that he can ask him for money so he can go take a swim in the Thames, and they're going to send it. He's like, well, they'll send me money anyway, so why not just ask them for a little bit extra because I want to go, you know. Well, these people have. I just never heard of a guru doing this before. This is a new one. This is a new one for Mike. I'm even shocked that this guy's got the nerve. Where is he? Let's take one last look at this guy. At where is this? Take another look at this guy. Look at this guy, man. He's got his bead bag. He's got his sweatsuit. He's got his assistant's guy there laughing. He's laughing at him. You got somebody carrying his life jacket or whatever. Old Swimmerpada here is gonna go take a swim. Man, is this the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen?
One that's already brought Srila Prabhupada's teachings closer to the. This is the final stretch of a campaign that began last year. One that's already brought Srila Prabhupada's teachings closer to the Arab-speaking world. With your help, we can do the same for the Turkish. Why swimming? At nearly 77, it's the one physical activity I can still do well, but it's also a challenge. And by challenging myself, I hope to inspire others.
That is such bullshit. That is such a bullshit answer. He said, why swimming? Well, because it's the one thing I can still do at my old age. I'm 77, you know, I can't do a whole lot. I can swim. But why swim? But why are you swimming? Okay, so one thing you can do, but why are you doing it? But why are you swimming in the river? Well, because I hope to inspire others. I hope my swimming will inspire others to do what? Inspire others to give me money. I don't want to inspire people to give money to somebody else. I'm not trying to inspire people to go swimming. I'm inspiring people to give me money. Their service is to me. My disciples serve me. I'm the guru. I go swimming. They pay. That's how the game works. You know, it's just, I'm so disgusted with these people. This guy, this fake guru Swimmerpod is really, that's pretty low. That's pretty low. Like, we know that these gurus go and do stuff with their money. Like, you know, one guy got caught in Bangkok. I don't know how you get caught in Bangkok. His disciple must have been following him or something. Somebody must have known what he was doing, and they how do you how do you get caught in Bangkok on a date? Like, someone's got to be following you and watching what you're doing. So somebody knew that he was doing stuff, and they were like watching him. I mean, or somebody spilled the beans. But how do you get caught? I mean, somebody could get exposed, but how do you get caught red-handed? These guys are doing, we know they're doing all kinds of stuff, but now he's just like right on YouTube, like, hey, I want to go for a swim. Check me out in my spiffy little wetsuit. You know, I could use a new one of those. You know, I might need a new. I might need a new wetsuit. So, you know, if you could just like maybe squeeze out a few extra donations, you know, could send a few extra rupees my way, you know, a little extra Lakshmi here and there. I got, you know, you don't want Guru Dave swimming in my old wetsuit. You know, Guru Dave's, you know, don't you have transcendental love for your Guru Dave? You could send me a new swimsuit, a new wetsuit so I can swim while I'm on vacation, while you're paying for my vacation to go swim. I mean, if you're gonna send me money for my swimming lessons or, you know, my 10K, then, you know, you can afford to buy me a new wetsuit and maybe some flippers and you know, I don't know what else. I don't know what else he needs for his little escapade to London at 77 years old, when he should be out in the forest, sitting under a tree, chanting Hare Krishna. That's what Prabhupada says he should be doing. You know, remember Prabhupada, the guy who said women are less intelligent and Hitler was a great guy and blacks are ugly and they belong in the jungle and didn't give a fuck when his kids were being molested? Remember him, Prabhupada? He didn't say that gurus should be swimming 10Ks and asking their disciples to send them money to do it. This is friggin' outrageous, man. This is outrageous fucking thing. You know, this shit's going nuts. Like, I can't believe, like, the last 4 or 5 shows I've done, it's just like every show is blowing my mind. I thought it was just going to be regular old, you know, they molest children, and then no, it's like all kinds of crazy shit. 85-year-old gurus with their disciples, and this guy with his swimming around, his flipper pod. I don't know what the fuck is next. I don't know what's next. Well, we'll find out. I'll keep you posted, everybody. I want to please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons out there. This guy meditating. Yeah, you know, hit the like, share, and subscribe. We get these videos out there so people can be warned that these guys ain't nothing but a scam. I mean, come on, man. Now you're just showing your ass to everybody. I mean, this cult is just showing their ass to everybody. You know, Trivikram with his 85-year-old disciple. This guy's, you know, he's fishing for donations so he can go for a swim. So he can go for a swim in his new wetsuit. It's fucking insane. Fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Oh, I did want to show you guys one thing. I wanted to show you this one thing. This is me. This is me bathing Lord Jagannath in the LA temple back in, like, I don't know, 90 something, 97, 98, 99, somewhere around there. Anyway, yeah, that's me bathing the Lord Jagannath right there in LA. And you can see that's my friend, the guy that gave me my book. Oh, here's my magical mystery, tour story. This is the knucklehead that gave me the book. I'll do a show about him one day. Anyway, so that's that's me. That was me back in like 98, 99. I don't know, somewhere around there. So anyway, I want to thank everybody. Have a great day, great night, great morning, great afternoon. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Yeah. It's too funny. Yeah, pouring milk. It was milk, absolutely. Pouring milk over the statue. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it was. That's what I was. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. And here's some pictures of me doing some other crazy Hare Krishna stuff. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks a lot. Have some great luck. And please stay out of a cult, everybody. Bye.